Alright, so this is the boat trip project.
I'm Aidan Ludwig.
I'm Dinidu.
I'm RoRi.
I'm Aditya.
So what is our project? So basically what our project is looking at pollution in local waterways such as Galveston Bay, and looking at the chemicals affecting coastal oceans and human environments, so like sea life. And then looking specifically more so forged metals. So basically we did research on how those forged metals get in there and how we can fix this problem.
Okay, so I've been talking about how this might interest with the water and coastal environment. So a lot of Galveston's industries and the factories surrounding us have a lot of health risks. They're very small health risks, but for a long period of time, they can become fatal. We have like a lot of contact with sulfur, since we have the sulfur plant across the way, and also there's a lot of rust coming from metals that have been polluted, like you'll see later with the USS Selma. Those metals and those chemicals can be released into the water, which can hurt the fish, and it can even be released into our drinking water, which is not good for human beings at all either.
So, what does chemistry have to do with this? When it comes to finding metals in water, it's really hard to find the exact one you're looking for due to just how many there are. And chemistry comes in to help us fix that problem and find out what we need to know specifically. So chemistry is used in remote sensing, but a specific method is the polycarbonate barrel method, which essentially scientists will take a sample, freeze it, and then bring it back to a lab. And when they do that, they take a hydrochloric and nitric acid corrosive mixture, and that isolates the metal that we're looking for.
So my role in the group is basically as a team facilitator. Basically what I do is I organize the meetings that we have, I set deadlines for what we need to do or assignments, and then for me, what I did in the research is I researched metal tracing and also outlined the essay and then the presentation.
I was the team manager. I basically oversaw all the team roles. I ensured that there was a communication, built a group chat, make sure everyone was there for our meeting times, and if they weren't, make sure that they were properly informed. I also reviewed content and the video presentation. So I'm gonna look over all of this, and then I also looked over the entire presentation, but everything was good. And then my part while I was doing the research was I was looking over the effects of sulfur on marine environment.
So I was a product manager, and essentially what I did is I went through the assignments, proofread them, make sure everything checked out, everything was done to the necessary degree and to the best we could. And with these slides, I went through and I formatted them, make sure everything was as cohesive as possible. That's essentially what I did.
I'm Aditya. I was the research facilitator, and I overviewed and looked for all the resources and made sure each one had to do with a topic and they're heavily detailed. And then I made sure it did come back to our topic to make sure they're all on topic. And then our proposal is to find where the water pollution is coming from, like what's causing it, and then trying to find a solution to fix the issue. Why we picked it is, even though it's a basic topic a lot of people are aware about, especially in Galveston, it's a very impactful topic because it causes a lot of issues like we discussed previously, and it needs to be discussed and fixed quickly.
So while doing this project, we had a good amount of challenges, and this include, first of all, finding out what to write and talk about for our project, agreeing on certain things, making sure everyone's on the same page, being able to split the work, who's doing what, and making sure we split the work evenly, so scheduling meetings, going to the group chat and asking whenever people are most free, and if someone's not free, then communicating what we did in that meeting and what they need to do. We basically solved it by effective communication and also, again, agreeing, making sure everyone's on the same page.
So here are some of our figures that we looked at while looking over the roles and the different kinds of pollutions. So if you look at figure 1, we have the sulfur pile. The sulfur pile is actually right across the bay from us here at A&M Galveston. It's a very large pile. It might not look that large from here, but it's very big. There's nothing like really containing it, so it's open to all the weather, and so when there's heavy winds, that sulfur will blow around. It can get into our waterways. It can get into the actual water, and then the animals can like absorb that sulfur. Like if they eat something and the water's heavily contaminated around them, they can absorb that sulfur, which isn't good. Another thing that happens is if you ever notice whenever it rains, it smells. That's because of the sulfur pile. Short amount of exposure to sulfur isn't bad. However, if there's long amounts, so like over like 10 years worth of time, it could cause diseases. And then here, figure 2, we have the USS Selma shipwreck, which is right down the Galveston Channel. We looked at this shipwreck because it, as you can tell, it's very heavily corroded. It used to be a very large ship. Now it's down to just basically ruins. The rust that comes off of that metal is not good for the fish at all. There wasn't much marine life that was around the USS Selma, just because of all the shavings of metal and things like that. It's not very good for the environment. We are trying to find a way to fix this. That was one of our other research topics. So yeah.
So here's another picture of the USS Selma, and like you said before, this shows one source of potential pollution in Galveston. But we also, through our research, we looked into the way people were using AI to track pollution, and we thought that understanding the USS Selma and tracking the metal content around it would be useful to understanding how pollution spreads in Galveston specifically.
Some things that we discovered while trying to figure out a solution is we found out we can process and collect the cores of all these of the water, and we can like trace like what chemicals or specifically metals are in the water. Basically, in a way, like found the best techniques we can use to find metals, and like we can decompose the water to find like the specific chemical in them. Also, with the emerging use of AI, we can use that tool to also check what's coming into the water and what's going through the water, and then we can like see what dangerous pollutants that we need to avoid, and what areas we have to concentrate on to deal with the issue, and also discover the impacts of the pollution. Like I said, we looked at using AI, we found the locations of where we can find the location where like the pollutants are coming from, and we can address the issue of those specific areas.
Alright, so the reason why we did all this is pollution in general is very bad. It's bad for the environment, it's bad for the animals, it's bad for us. So us as engineers, we can solve and design ways of using AI and other resources to combat all this pollution. That one day we can have these beautiful channels and the beautiful bays, so that way there isn't any more marine life, any kind of species going extinct. You can always help your own local channels by picking up around like at the beach, or if you go fishing, make sure you clean up all your mess. That's a great way that you can help impact the environment and stop this problem of pollution. We can also use different, like we said, the AI to track where all this pollution is coming from. Maybe find the main source, whether it's the USS Selma or the sulfur pile across the bay. We can use that AI to find it, track it, hunt it down, and hopefully stop the pollution. So, thank you.